Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Alex and this is EVE Online, and today I'm going to do a video about LowSec agents and LowSec agent missions. Now I'm going to start with a little bit of a disclaimer. This is going to be all LowSec agents excluding the mission agents for faction warfare organizations, namely the NPC faction warfare companies that you align yourself with when you enter faction warfare. Those missions I'm going to discuss when I do the faction warfare section. So, one key question is this. Why would you do agent missions in LowSec? That is a very good question. Essentially, the agent missions in LowSec are, for all intents and purposes, exactly the same as the agent missions in HighSec. They are the same NPCs, they're the same script, they're the same objectives, and you get the same amount of ISK for the mission reward. There is one difference, however. And a lot of people don't know this difference. I frankly didn't know it either until I looked it up on the EVE Wiki website. The main difference between agent missions in LowSec and HighSec is the fact that the agent missions in LowSec are weighted to the security status of the system that they're in. So, quick rule of thumb, the baseline for loyalty points for each agent is 0.5 security status in the system. If you do a mission from an agent that is from a 0.5 security status system, you get the base nominal amount of the loyalty points for that mission. If you go up to 0.6, 0.7 or higher security status, there is a 10% reduction in loyalty points per 0.1 security status that you go up. So if you're looking at doing agent missions from a 0.7 system, it's HighSec, it's safe, yada, 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 you're looking at about a 20% decrease in loyalty points that you'll get for that agent. In LowSec, it goes the other direction. For each 0.1 security status drop in the security status, 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, 0.1, there is a 10% increase in the loyalty points for that particular agent and that mission. So, is that enough of a benefit to run agent missions in LowSec? And that is a question that really comes with the answer of, it depends. It depends a lot on your particular situation in EVE Online. So, if you're a character, and if you're a player that has 50 or 60 million skill points, you can fly Tech 2, Tech 3 ships no problem. Does running agent missions in LowSec make any real difference to you? Probably not. The loyalty points for those agent missions are not worth the time investment that you could be doing in other more profitable activities that your character at 50 or 60 million skill points and heavy assault cruisers and things like that can do, such as running anomalies. Even ratting, for example, can actually net you more ISK, particularly if you can run across the right rats. Covert research stations, exploration. There's a lot of activities that can give a lot more ISK for your particular character if you're running a character that is, again, at a pretty decent level. There really is no sense in running agent missions in LowSec. However, if you're a newer character, if you're somewhere around maybe 6 to 10 to 15 million skill points, and or you cannot afford Tech 2, Tech 3 ships, and you're more Tech 1 ships, then the loyalty point bonus that you get for running missions at LoSec does become a real consideration. Right now, for those of you who are following my channel, I am doing what's called a LoSec challenge. And the LoSec challenge is simply this. I take a close to near new character, though not completely new, take him down to LoSec and see if I can survive in LoSec without coming back to HighSec. In many ways, living kind of like in Outlaw, but without the Outlaw status. I'm saying, you know what, I'm going to be more of a pioneer, kind of a prospector, just head out into LoSec and stay there and see if I can survive on my own in LoSec without having to come back to HighSec. And if you're interested, you can see the videos on my channel. But while doing that, I found that the easiest way to get started in LoSec was actually by running agent missions in the LoSec space and getting the bonus in loyalty points. Running agents in low security space has two advantages over agents in high security space. One is, of course, as I just mentioned, is the loyalty point bonus. The second one, however, is this. In low security space, both your mental status and what you're doing is more advantageous to what you're doing. What I mean is this. In LoSec, you're more on guard about other players. You know that in LoSec space, other players could potentially be a threat, no matter what their security status is. I've been ganked on a number of occasions by 5.0 security status people who just happen to rat a heck of a lot to kind of hide their pirate tendencies. But the other advantage is this, is that there's very few people in LoSec. If you end up in the right place, where you're not on a major travel junction, then it's much easier to keep an eye on local and to see who's coming in and who's coming out than it is in HighSec. In HighSec, you can have 20 or 30 or 40 people in the system easily. And many of them are also running missions because they tend to congregate in those areas. In LoSec, most of the time, it's just you. Yeah, it's just you in LoSec, and when someone enters the system, it's very easy to look at the character, pull up their sheet, see what they're doing, and are they blinking red, or are they part of a known pirate organization, etc., etc., etc. It's much easier to ascertain that information when there's only 2 of you in the system rather than in 20, because you don't know who to look for in a high security space that who can gank you, code or whatever. So that's another advantage of being in low security space. Again, are those advantages worth it? It really depends. It depends on your particular situation. I would say if you're a new character and you're taking a walk on the wild side, yeah, it's probably worth it. But if you're above 15 million, 20 million skill points, you're starting to fly Tech 2 ships, there are better alternatives than running agent missions in low security space. The bonus is there, but again, you'll have to make the determination if you want to run missions. There are a few other challenges, however, in running missions in low security space. One is just a simple fact of logistics. If you need something, if you need ammunition, if you need a new ship, if you need this or that, it's much harder to get those ships to where you're operating in low security space than it is in high security space. Particularly when you go into larger ships such as battle cruisers and battleships. 1, they might not even exist where you're at. 2, there may be a massive markup, sometimes 2 to 3 times more than what you buy in HighSec. There's quite a few logistical challenges. And of course, the other aspect is, as I mentioned before, is you're in a kind of a dangerous neighborhood. So while that makes you stay on the lookout for other players, it doesn't necessarily mean that the risk is worth the reward in many cases. So it's an interesting path. It's not one that, frankly, anybody does. It is there. It is an option. I think it's a viable option for newer players. But again, once you get above a certain threshold, and usually people that go into LoSec are above that threshold anyways, maybe not worthwhile. But again, it's something maybe to dab in, to experiment with. Maybe you'll have better luck. Who knows? Now, again, this is not addressing faction warfare missions. Those are very different because the loyalty point payout for those missions is much higher than in standard corporations. And there, it's a very different calculations. But for your normal missions, we'll see. So anyways, keep that in mind. I hope this video was helpful to you. It's not a topic that usually people discuss, and, for good reasons. There are more profitable options in low sec, but if you want to maybe do this on the side, maybe add a little bit of flavor, maybe to grind up some standings that you would like, maybe a little bit faster than you could in high sec, it's worth a look. Anyways, my name is Ox. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's been really quick, and if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And if you like the video, let me know what you think in the comments. All right, take care, guys. I will talk to you soon. Fly safe.